So I always like to start by saying thank you to the International Clarinet Association for doing this new music weekend. It's so important to advocate for, living performers, composers, and new music. So thank you so much for doing that. Today, I'm so excited to have a great friend and collaborator of mine here with us today, Armando Bayolo. And so, Armando, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe some career highlights.
Hi, well, thank you for having me, and thank you to the ICA for doing this. Echo your sentiments there. It's really important to promote. I thought it was funny that you said living performers. Like, are there any other kind? But of course, with recording, you're now actually yes, you have to actually compete with sometimes with long gone performers too. So it's just a brave new world and. Um, yeah, so um I had another gag about that. Oh, before we started recording, we were talking about how this is how you build community. And so this is these sort of efforts, even something as simple as an online conference is a great way to build community. So
Mhm.
bravo. So um I'm not sure what I can say. I've been around for a long time, so it just feels like going back further and further. I feel, it's a little bit like I should roll out the big scroll that goes all the way out the door, but I'm originally from from around San Juan metropolitan area in Puerto Rico, but have been living in the US mainland since 1989. So it's a long time, longer than Taylor Swift. No, as long as Taylor Swift. She was,
uh,
I don't know what month she was born, but it's like she was born in 1989. I came in, I did my first summer at Interlochen in May or in June, and then moved to the academy in September. So it's like fall of 89. And I
Mhm.
never left. Here I am. Um, did degrees at the Eastman School of Music at Yale University and the University of Michigan. I lived in the around the Washington D.C. region for about 20 years, where I was um, primarily active as a performer, composer, and curator, um, doing Great Noise Ensemble, which is a group that I founded and that ran for 15 years, um, until pretty much until COVID. Um, and now I live in St. Louis, where I live but don't work because I work at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign. I'm in my third year as a lecturer in the composition theory and production department, where I'm kind of a utility player, I think, because of all the different hats that I've worn in my career. So I teach right now. I'm teaching a lot of theory, which is challenging because I am not a theorist. I've never thought of myself as a theorist, but it's really fun because I get to talk about really cool music that I really like to talk about. Um, and I also sometimes conduct the help con I'm one of the conductors of the Illinois Modern Ensemble, which is our resident new music group. I'm taking a hiatus from it this semester because I've got a bit of a teaching overload. And I teach composition as well. I've got a handful of private composers right now. Occasionally teach, like I started out teaching the freshman sophomore sequence um, for composition, and it's looking like I'm going to be returning to the sophomore sequence next semester, which I'm really looking forward to. I really like teaching those classes and teaching. I really have found that I really like teaching not just in composition, but also in theory and in piano beginners or early steps. What we in as composers sometimes refer to as lovingly as baby composers.
Mhm.
It's fun. It's fun. It's just you're just opening up people's eyes to things that maybe they didn't think were possible. I'm teaching one student right now privately that I taught as a sophomore. He was so against, like, remember in one of my classes when I introduced him to, he started in freshman actually, as in the freshman class. I start them writing graphic notation,
Mm.
not doing nothing about notes at all. And he's like,
Wow.
"Oh, what is this nonsense?" Well,
Mm-hmm.
he came into my private school studio this year saying, "I had an epiphany about John Cage and 433 this year. You have to attend the silence." And it was like he had this spiritual awakening with, like, literally he describes it like that about, and he's a very religious Catholic. And so I'm like, who are you? I was like, no, it's just, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? It was just the time I was ready to accept it. It's like,
Yeah.
open to all these new ideas. I was like, it's really, really, really nice to see that. As as like seeing your students grow from, like, oh, okay, and to playing Amanda Harper virtuoso solos and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
I
same
love
with
that.
composers.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that reminds me kind of my own journey because I remember, today I'm known for like mostly doing new music, but I remember like in undergrad, one of the first clarinet new, contemporary pieces that I did was Stravinsky three pieces, and I was not open to it at that time, and it's so funny thinking back to
Yeah.
that now because now it's so much
Right. Well,
of
I
what
have
I do, and
a
that's not even new.
I had a clarinet student like that in my theory class at Peabody when I was teaching the junior sequence, which was late 19th century and the 20th century, and he was all like, and now I think he's principal clarinetist in Iowa in Sioux City. It's the last time
Hmm.
I've lost track of him since then, but he was like, I don't know, man. And then we did John Adams at some point. We looked at some John Adams. And he's like, I'm learning gnarly buttons. That's it. And
Mm.
he became like a big new music guy. And he like
Cool.
came back and was like, yeah, I never would have expected it, but here I am. It's like, I know, right? Like you just, in fact, I was just on Reddit having an argument about this. Somebody saying something about having like talking about Rachmaninoff of all people. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, it's 19th century music. It's like it was pieces from 1934, dude. And it's like, this is the 20th century. They're like, no, I mean, you know what I mean. I'm like, yeah, and you're being engaging in an anachronism because you're just looking at it from the harmonic. It's like, yeah, he's using tonal harmony, but you're not gonna say Britten or Poulenc are writing 19th century music and they're using tonal harmony in the same year. Like, come on, it's not just about that. But
Hmm.
that's sort of how we learn. It's weird. I
Yeah.
mean, I was also like
Yeah.
my first composition teacher. I'm like, I don't want to write that weird modern stuff. And then she gave me like a list of listening to do. It's like, yeah, give it a shot. See what
Mhm.
you find that you like. And I'm like, oh, it's different than what I expected. And I'm like,
Mhm.
just I don't know. I don't get that resistance. It's just,
Mhm.
but I mean, we all have to go through it, I
Yeah.
think.
It's
I
part of
mean,
the process, and I
yeah, I
love
mean,
it.
and with anything, it's like, you
Yeah.
can be a picky eater and
Yeah.
decide, for the longest time when I was a kid, I thought I didn't like cheese. And all it turns out is like, all I didn't like was the craft processed American cheese slices. Well, like, yeah, okay, that's not really cheese.
No.
We're not legally allowed to call it cheese, right? So anyway,
Right.
we are, we are, going on a tangent.
Yes. As we are prone to do,
As
and
we are prone to do,
we
yes.
can we could talk, about all of that, for hours, I'm sure. But I love your music,
I'm happy to.
and I
Well, there's no accounting for taste, Eric.
and you have so much incredible clarinet music.
Thank you.
And I was going through all the music, because we've known each other for a good amount of years now, and I was
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through
like five years now, I think.
5 years now, and I think, and let me know if I'm missing anything, but I think we met when we were recording Nadia Puede dar
Oh,
lo
yeah,
que no
put that
tiene,
looking up. Yeah,
uh,
with Victory
in
Play.
Boston at GBH, and people can find that recording. It's an incredible work. That was my first work I think I played of yours. That you can find it on GBH. It's syndicated to NPR.
It's up on my website as well,
Mhm.
armandobayolo.com.
And that is a fan. Oh, here comes my cat again. That is a
We like
really
cats. Hello.
that is a really fantastic work. I mean, we could talk about that work for an hour, but we took it on tour. We took it to Illinois and UMass, and of course, it was really significant to take it to Puerto Rico in Pablo
Mm.
Casal's namesake hall, which was a real privilege. And just this past summer, playing your Cancionero de Luto morning songbook about the.
Twice. You guys did it twice.
Oh, true. We did it twice.
You
See,
did it twice, and then it
it's
got. I
all a
mean,
blur,
before that, it got done by a different group, but
right?
it's giant hour-long oratorio.
Yeah,
Got done 3 times in a month. It was crazy. I've never had that happen. Yeah.
well, especially a work for that configuration of choral plus Pierrot is
Mm.
not the easiest group to get, and you got three premieres this summer is pretty incredible. And of course, it was a privilege to do that with the Yale choral artists at Yale. That's a really powerful work. Please check that one out too. If there's a recording of that, people can listen to that yet.
The recording of the San Antonio premiere is up on my website. Actually, I didn't just get it. I've just been so busy with teaching stuff that I'm just now kind of setting myself up to go through it. Got the Yale recordings. There's a video and audio, and when I go through them, those will be up on my website as well, or possibly on YouTube. My YouTube channel is private just because I need it to have video on my site, but
Yeah,
one of these days I'll probably just open it up as well because that's how a lot of people explore. But for
sure.
right now, I just redid my website this summer, so
Yeah, looks great.
trying to encourage people to go there
Mm-hmm.
first. Um, but yeah, that I've only heard a few minutes of that performance, and it's a really, really, really amazing performance. Like makes you well, both of them are. They're very different performances, and I really like that.
Yeah.
It's a um like the Soli performance with the San Antonio Chamber Choir is a much more romantic kind of interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of like, I mean, you've played the clarinet part, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of it's very austere, but it has moments of virtuosity. And Soli really sort of, because of the chamber choir taking it a more, and Rick Biella, their director, being much more of a romantic approach, the group takes a much more romantic approach, whereas like Jeff Duma and Yale did it much more. They're much more of a kind of Renaissance Baroque style singing, which I really love. And
True.
so that performance, it was really interesting hearing victory players also just adapt to that sound, and the virtuosity changes, and
Mm.
it's neat. So I really want to keep both recordings in the same place because
Mm-hmm.
I've never it's a really striking, like to me it was like, wait a minute, is this the same piece? The first
Mm-hmm.
time I heard it in rehearsal, I'm like, something's off. I was like, yes, they're different groups taking different approaches. Like,
Mm.
it's neat. I love it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love that, and it was just such a privilege to work with the Yale choral artists. I mean, I've never worked with
I
singers at
know.
that level. I mean, the tone and intonation and just attention to detail was just mind-boggling, truly. Other pieces that I know I've played is the Holbein dances, and
Holbein dances.
we had such a fun time working on that piece while you were here. We had you here at Coastal Carolina University, where you got to work with my students, and it was a really great experience. Um, Yes, the music of Armando Bayolo. You gave an incredible speech to the Spanish area. You got to meet my student Victor, who's now a conducting master
Yeah.
student at Rhode Island. So shout out to Victor. Um,
Victor Sanchez.
Victor Sanchez.
Give him a proper set shout out.
Yes, thank you. And you were a big influence on him, I know, going into conducting, and he had such a great time working with you. So thank you for that. What other clarinet music do you have that I'm forgetting? Just curious.
Semblance of a sonata, my
Right.
clarinet and piano sonata, for Katie Ravenwood, and for whom I also wrote a bass clarinet sonata not that long ago, Three Nudes, which
Mhm.
everybody seems to be chomping at the bit to get at.
Yeah.
And but Katie's been busy and hasn't done it yet.
Mhm.
What else do I have for? I mean, I ran a new music ensemble for 15 years, so there's a lot of big clarinet parts in a lot of music that I wrote for that. My first symphony, chamber symphony, Illusory Airs, is basically a big concerto for Sinfonietta, and that has the last movement has a big sort of virtuoso clarinet part in the middle, and Los Caprichos, which actually Tiana and I are talking about kind of getting together for next season.
Oh,
As
fantastic.
that's basically an expanded Piero ensemble. No
Hmm.
percussion, but it has electric guitar and saxophone on top of the regular configuration.
Hmm.
Um, and that one, if we can pull it off, and I think we will, it's not actually that hard a project to pull off.
Hmm.
Um, you're gonna get so tired because it's 80 movements. 80 tiny
I know.
movements, but they add up. So it's like a little wordless opera kind of thing.
Wow.
With just told with visuals. Um I mean, I feel like the big pieces are the two sonatas, the quartet, the Holbein dances, the stuff for Piero ensemble, and I think I'm forgetting one. There's another one. Oh yeah, the concerto.
Well,
Duh.
we're gonna get to that, you know, because that's what we're here to talk
Well,
about. But
right,
I do
right.
just want to say, I cannot wait for Three Nudes to be premiered, and I cannot wait to hear it. I've heard it's just this incredible work, so people should look for that. And there's not that much for bass clarinet and piano, like great
I know
writing,
it's
and this is
it's
really.
that's surprising to me because it's such a great instrument and it's
I
such
know.
a I think next I should do a bass clarinet and vibraphone piece just to like do the two new music cliche instruments that everybody uses. Oh, new
Well,
music
let's talk about
ensemble.
that.
Do you
Yeah,
have vibraphone and bass clarinet? Like, yes, it's new music. It's they're
we
very
should talk.
versatile instruments that have wide ranges and stuff. And
It's-
well, Rob and I, while we were at Yale, were talking about the vibes, and he's like, "Oh, you use the vibes really interestingly," and it's like, yeah, they're like a great kind of like second piano or continuo. Like he's like doing all these roles. It's like I've never been asked to do this. It's like, oh, I got that from like John Luther Adams does it all the time, and it's a fantastic
Mm,
sound because it kind of like it's a great resonance that blends really well, and so it kind of like gives
mm,
this what could be a really thin on sounding ensemble or kind of a thicker sort of envelope.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
that's so great. I love
baseline
it.
and vibes. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And
Me and Rob
viola,
and I
I
will
don't know. What else needs repertoire? Put them
get
all in there.
Well, since we've now mentioned the concerto, I'm really excited about this, your new clarinet concerto, which we will premiere with the Greater Connecticut Youth Orchestras, um, and in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's November 23rd in Bridgeport,
November 20th.
Connecticut. Really, looking
With
forward to this
Christopher Heisey, who's an
with Christopher Heisey. Thank
old
you.
college friend of mine conducting.
Conducting,
Um,
yes. So tell us a little bit about this work.
so on Becoming Ungathered, the concerto for clarinet is I you tell it. I wrote it for you, man. The way you tell it is like I called you up and said, I want to write you a concerto. And you're like, what? I'm like, what? Why wouldn't I? You're amazing.
Well, we had talked, like, I knew from the moment I met you in Boston all those years ago that you were like, I don't even know how to say it, but just like somebody that I would continue to work with. I just felt like not only you're
I
just
have
such an
that effect
incredible.
on men.
But you're a great ally, and I just sensed that right away. And I love your music, obviously, but so I knew I would commission you eventually. But at some point, you did say I want to write you a concerto, and no one's written me a concerto before, and I thought,
But
wow,
I
that
just did.
you just and not just any concerto. I mean, I've got my study score here. Here's the problem with my study, and you signed it when you were here, which I love. So eventually, I'll frame this when I don't need it. But now I need it because I'm
Well,
in practice mode.
you'll need because that's pre-revisions from
Yeah,
this summer.
yeah, I've got to
And
update it.
that's just the orchestral version. There's a band version that we need to shop around a bit more.
Good shout out. So
Um,
bands and
uh,
orchestras. We got a band and orchestra version. Let
yes.
us know if you'd like to do this work. We've got the premiere scheduled in Connecticut, but
Yeah,
that's
we've
it.
got the orchestral premiere, and it's looking very likely that it will get done next season in St. Louis, with the St. Louis Philharmonic. So more on that as that becomes hammered out. But
Yeah. Yeah.
and I mean, we're still shopping it to other orchestras, and
Mhm.
shout out to other orchestras if you want to do it. This piece is, it's pretty. It's a nice, it's kind of like, so yeah, I mean, I kind of felt the same way back in Boston, and it's like I just grew enamored of, I love the clarinet. If I, there are two instruments that if I could had time to learn other than the piano, it would be the cello and the clarinet.
Mm.
And those are very similar instruments, I think, in terms of just the timbre and the
Mm.
quality. They're the most, they're what a lot of people think they're the closest to the human voice.
Mm.
Certainly the clarinet. And
This
they,
is why clarinetists love you. We love you. You get it. That's what, yes.
oh, well, okay. I mean, the clarinet is cool. I mean, you can do so much with it. You have a great low range, you have a great mid range, you have a great high range, and it's just all different personalities, and it all kind of fits in the kind of playing that you do, the kind of, you have a very, very easy virtuosity that I'm like, how the hell does somebody do this? Like, it's just like very, just like the facility of it. Like, yeah, of course I want to write you a concerto, man. Oh yeah,
Well,
we got to do something, and the piece is very. I don't know. This piece is to me it's weird because it's all about death, right? But it's not, right?
yeah.
It's a on Becoming Ungathered, it takes the title from a poem or an excerpt from a young adult novel about just basically the idea of um living forever, but it's not necessarily tied to a spiritual discipline, but the idea that matter cannot be destroyed or created, it just gets reconstituted. So
Yeah.
we will all exist forever,
Yeah.
just not in maybe the way that, well, I don't know, actually, in the way that we think. We don't, we just don't know. So it's an idea of that, and it's just sort of about, but it's about a lot of different things, and it's about acceptance and stuff. But it's
Mm.
also
Hmm.
a very, but it's not a sad piece.
No.
I don't think it's a
Very
bit,
optimistic.
yeah. I mean,
Very
I think
sparkly.
yeah,
Yeah.
the first movement is all very kind of joyful, and it has some moments of tension. It's kind of organized, and I didn't put these in the score, but I still think of like the four instrumental sections. That the one that begins, I call them elemental fanfares. So one that begins, it begins with all these like flurry, repeated tongue woodwind gestures that are supposed to represent water. And then the first climax is a percussion section solo that represents earth. It's like an earthquake kind of thing. And then the next climax is fire, which is all these high pitches and trills, and a quote from Wagner's fire music in Die Walküre.
Oh,
Not really a
uh-huh.
quote. It's buried. It's really buried. But that was kind of the inspiration, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quote fire music because it's a cool moment, and it's just a little bit in the horn part. And then the last one is air, and that one like becomes just everybody, all the winds breathing into their instruments,
Hmm.
and the strings just playing basically liando. I can never say that word. Just harmonic glissandos where it's just like Ravel, and that leads into the cadenza from hell, where
Yeah.
you're gonna need to take all that breath that the string players that, nah, it's just a straight cadenza, and then there's a slow movement, and it's all strung together, and the slow movement is basically slightly different. It's not as it's I don't think the relationship between the soloist and the orchestra is not as um divisive is the wrong word, but they're not as you're not as divided.
Yeah.
And it's much more of a symbiotic thing. And there's two themes, but they're all related to the themes of the first movement. And it's just sort of the ideas of transformation, and of
Yes.
like something becoming one thing becoming another, and certain moods becoming others, and it's just this kind of floating aria or nocturne. I think that was what I was calling them in the sketches, aria and nocturne, with like, it's alternating between a theme and a variation and a theme and a variation, and then it just sort of fades into the ether. It wasn't supposed to do that. It was supposed to be a kind of a big ending, actually.
Hmm.
Originally, I
Hmm.
wanted it to like soar and become this triumphal ending, but pieces have a mind of their own.
Hmm.
And this one was like, no, no, you're gonna taper down, and this, so your part tapers down to the Shalom and just sort of trills along with the violas, and it stops, and everybody else is just playing these high notes that just, it's beautiful.
It really is. And I get it. I
I'm really
honestly,
proud of it.
you should be. It's my favorite work of yours. Of course, I'm biased,
You're kind
but
of biased.
I'm kind of biased. But I got a little emotional hearing you talk about it because speaking about the cosmos and transformation and matter just is always kind of with us. It just changes, you know.
Yeah.
But I think about you said pieces have a mind of their own, and this piece decided to end that way. And I was thinking about what I want to say about this piece because obviously I'm in practice mode, and getting this piece together every day, seriously, and it's a doozy. It's a really tricky piece, and
Yeah. Sorry about that.
no, I love it. And but what's interesting to me now about this piece is, you didn't write it that long ago, but you finished it right before the current administration took office. And so part
Mhm.
of like it was just a different era when this piece was written. And it's an era that's so gone now. All of that optimism and positivity is feels gone now. And but it's
Oh, I
it
don't know about that actually.
well, that's the optimism of the piece in my mind. It's like that is still there, and that is why I'm practicing. That's why I believe in music. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and because that's hard to do right now. And I think probably a lot of people listening right now are struggling to create and struggling to stay positive in this political
Oh,
environment. And we
I'm
don't have
gonna
to
do
go.
I'm gonna do a really dorky thing here right now.
Mm.
This is Superman, right? I am such a dork. My wife makes fun of me for this. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but James Gunn made a movie about this guy this summer, and it was all anybody was talking about for a while. They're still kind of talking about it because the whole thing about it was that maybe the theme in the movie is maybe kindness is the new punk rock. And that movie kind of made me feel like you're describing right now. It's like, you know what? Yeah, no, we just, you have to fight for it. And if that kind of artistic statement is possible, even in hard times, then it's possible anytime. They can't take that away from us, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the piece is, I mean, it was coming. It wasn't finished that long before. I think the election had happened when it was finished. I think it was like in November of 24 that I finished it. It's not that long.
Yeah.
It feels longer, but I don't know. Oh, because I've written two other big pieces in the meantime.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's just it's so weird. Like I'm actually in a slow period of composition, and it
Mm.
feels like I'm like, what am I doing with myself?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, look, life is life, and life changes, and
It's a pendulum, I think,
yeah,
and that matter that's in your concerto is still there, and it just gives me optimism. It makes me very excited for this premiere because that's the world that I believe in
right.
is
And
that
that's why
sparkly.
and one reason I like that it's a youth orchestra doing it too,
Right.
because
Oof, that's
I
powerful.
and I've worked with these kids before, and I actually they premiered my sixth symphony, which is a kind of like celebration at the end of COVID. And so there's a whole bit at the end that's just about them. It's about I wrote a piece at the beginning of COVID called Dispatches from the Anthropocene. And the last movement is called Thunberg's Children. And it's all about, and I use the same theme at the end of the Sixth Symphony for these students. Because it's like, yeah, that's a generation that's gonna save the world.
Right.
Um, I mean, we all say that. and it's not fair that we're like putting it on them now, but it's we all have to save the world in our time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, I'm excited that it's going to be them, and they're great. I'm looking forward to having you work with them because
And I hear their
these
clips.
kids are going to love you.
They're just getting started, with rehearsals and stuff, and I hear the clips. I'm like, oh my God, these kids
Oh,
are incredible.
I haven't heard the clips yet. I
Yeah.
heard I heard from a clarinet teacher, one of their clarinet teachers who I went to Yale with. She sent me a message and said, "Oh, a student just came in with your clarinet concerto, the part for your clarinet concerto." And I'm like, "Wait, what? How? She's not it's that's not published." Like, oh, right, she's got the orchestra.
Yeah.
Right, she's got the orchestra part. Got it, got it. Oh,
Oh,
that's
okay. Yeah.
fun.
Oh, she's gonna beat me to the premiere.
Yeah, I was like, what? No, you're not. How? I haven't published those yet. Can't buy that. I even
That's
turned
hilarious.
somebody who follows you on TikTok and Insta, like emailed me to try to get a copy of the score, and I'm like, that's not available yet. You
Yeah.
can't. I mean, you can do the perusal score that's up on the website, but not until the premiere, I'm not. You can't buy it.
Yeah.
No, nope, doesn't
Very
belong to you.
soon.
After
Very-
that, you can buy the solo part, and you can buy the file for the MIDI music minus one, because the way that it's orchestrated, it's impossible to do a piano reduction, but we've tried it as music minus one. I think that's a fun way to do it. Um,
Armando, I printed this score. This is super tabloid. So you
yeah.
have quite a, this is pretty grandiose for
Well, what
the
is that? Well, that's the climax of the first movement, and it's
Wow,
and
you can see that.
and
Yes,
it's
you're right.
the and you're missing the strings. The strings got cut off. Turn other page. No, no, no. The one that
Oh,
I'm looking at right
oh
now.
yes.
There's no
Yeah,
strings
that's
in that
true. I
page.
thought
Just
I
the
printed it
violin.
right. Oh,
Whoopsie.
well, I tried to print it as big as I could so I could see the score.
Hey, man.
I gotta find a way to print
You
bigger
should
paper.
see. Well, let's wait to see how we print the band part, the band version, because the band version has more lines because
Oh,
we don't get
true.
five strings. We have 25 flutes and or something. It's five flute parts, five clarinet parts, and I have to like make up for the strings. And I kind of like the band version better. Maybe we'll have to see. Um,
It'll be interesting to hear the difference between them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think there's that much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's some things that I think might work better in the band version than the orchestra, and vice versa. I mean, I love both.
Bands, reach out.
That's right.
Well,
That's
fantastic.
right.
Let's, with all this talking about what the piece sounds like, I do have a little clip of just the introduction of the concerto. So I'll play that now. I'm having deja vu a little bit because not this past summer, but the summer before that I did, Cariliano
Mhm.
Concerto in New York, and so I got to, chat with him a little bit about the piece and stuff, and that was his first, commission with New York Phil, and I remember he said, Leonard Bernstein was expecting a little Copland-esque kind of piece, and that's I kind of
He
wondered
writes
what
that in
you.
the program notes, yeah.
Yeah, and wow, I kind of feel that way because I didn't know what you would write, you know?
Well, so see, that's the thing, Eric. You were playing the Cariliano at the time. I'm like, all right, I know what he can do. So I'm like, Cariliano was one of the like when I was a baby composer myself, I listened to a lot of his music. He's not someone that I return to a lot, but when I do return to him, I'm like, why don't I return to him?
Hmm.
This is really good music.
Yeah,
And um and that piece is amazing. That piece is an amazing
incredible.
piece. And I'm like, oh, so I like the idea of color and like I mean your line in on Becoming Ungathered is basically the beginning of the Berliano. It's just, you know, the orchestra says something first, but it's the same gesture.
It starts on the same note. Ooh, I never thought of that, but I do think of it. There are like moments
It's
where the
on
brass.
purpose. It's on you sent me the score to the
I hear little
Berliano.
glimpses of it because there's like
It's all
moments
on purpose.
where the
There are no
brass
quotes.
where the brass are really wailing,
Yeah.
and the clarinet's out and the brass is really
The
wailing, and that
fire fanfare is all, yeah, it's like the last movement.
was
But
that intentional? Because I've been
well,
wondering.
so there's no quotes or anything like that, but yeah, I listened to the piece. I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, some of those like gestures and textures, yeah, it's very much intentional. And certainly the opening, I'm like, oh, I want to open. I mean, the Corelliano Clarinet Concerto opening is famous. It's just a
Yeah,
great, you're just going, and then people start coming in on top of you. So I'm like, I mean, it's such a great opening. I'm like,
yes, it
and he
really
just played,
is.
Eric just played Corelliano. I'm just gonna nudge a little bit of tribute at Corelliano, and you
I
know,
love
maybe we'll send it. We should send it to him. I don't know. He'll probably sue me. I don't
that.
have a
You think so?
relationship with him, but you do. So, um,
I don't think so at all. I think he would love that.
maybe he'll send it to the New York Philharmonic and do the master. Wouldn't that be
We can
nice?
dream.
That's right. One of these days, before
So,
I die.
on that note, you know what?
Yeah.
Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't before we wrap up here?
How am I supposed to know that?
I don't know either,
Can
but
I read your mind?
I do have one last question that I want to ask, so we end on a positive note because you've said you love
Oh, death is not a positive note.
what I guess you already kind of answered
Death
this.
is not a negative, but I don't
That's
know.
true.
We could get into a philosophy, but eh, I don't
What do
want to.
you love about the clarinet?
That clarinetist like my music? I don't know. No, I've talked about it. I like,
That's true, you
it's
did.
got this wide range. It sounds, it's like, it's, so it has almost as much flexibility as the flute, but actually, I'd say it has about the same flexibility as the flute at this point. Clarinetists are
Yeah.
agile and virtuosic enough that I there's really no difference in the things that a flutist and a clarinetist can do. So that's a very old-fashioned way of putting it, but the range is wider.
Yeah.
And I like the timbre is, well, it's varied, right? Because the Shalom sounds different than the mid-range and your altissimos. It's called altissimo in clarinet.
Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
Your altissimos are like wailing.
Yeah.
I mean, a flute is more of a screech in their altissimo,
Right.
whereas well, so is a clarinet, but it's the difference between a Beatlemania screech and a final girl. You know what a final girl is? Clarinet is the clarinet screech is the final girl screech.
That will be the name of the next piece I
The
commission from
next
you.
piece, right? Final girl.
I I love that. And I do love
Um,
horror movies, so
right,
that's
right.
good.
Well, that's one thing that I'm like, I didn't used to like that in my adulthood. I'm like, because we were talking about before we recorded about getting into new music, and it's like, yeah, for me with horror, it's like, yeah, I don't like. Now I'm like, my youngest daughter got into horror, so we started watching horror movies. Like,
Love
this
it.
is awesome. And so yeah, it's like the flute still in that shrieky range feels a still more like excitement and Beatlemania. Oh, it's it or a Swifty or whatever. Whereas the clarinet is like, ah, don't come at me, Jason Voorhees, or something. I don't know.
That is the cool thing about
Or
playing the
it's Jamie
clarinet.
Lee Curtis. It's Jamie Lee Curtis at Halloween,
Right.
um, that kind of thing. Oh,
I
but
love
yeah, I
that.
mean that's the clarinet. It contains multitudes, and
Yeah.
it's. I mean, everybody says they love the Shalom register, and I'm no different. It's just
Mhm.
it's like liquid.
Yeah.
It's molten chocolate kind of.
Mm.
It's like
Yes.
it blends really well, but it also I don't know. It's just such a great instrument.
Well said. Oh, I love that. That's a
And
good
it's
note to end on.
yeah.
That's so great. So, thank
All right.
you, and I
That's
hope
it. That's all you
everyone.
want?
I think so. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, not really.
I think we got through it. So please, for everyone listening, take some time to check out Armando Bajolo's incredible clarinet music. And Armando, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.